Patreon buffet. Check, 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 check.
Check, check, check.
Check, 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 check.
Check, check, check.
Oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. It's another beautiful day here at the Patreon. No, podcast.
Podcast,
buffet.
yes.
Right? Because we're doing two separate things now. Not separate. They're related, right? So we got the Patreon buffet, which if you want to support us, thank you so much.
Thank
we love
you so much, yes.
If you saw the people in person, would you kiss them?
Yes.
All of our patrons?
Yeah.
All right, so there's a perk, everybody. If you want to kiss Yuki Nakamura, be a patron and he'll kiss you.
Yeah.
No tongue.
No tongue, no.
No, just the smooch.
Well.
Or a peck.
The guy maybe cheek.
Okay.
Then the female mouth.
Yuki, have you ever heard of the Me Too movement? Jesus Christ. Well, any consenting woman who wants to kiss on the mouth, yes. But everybody else gets the
maybe
cheek.
I should let them do it then.
They can decide.
They can decide.
Because, what if a guy is like the cheek? All right, here's my butt cheek, and then you gotta kiss.
Butt cheek.
You don't want to do that.
No, I don't want to do it.
All right, so this is
Yeah.
Yuki and John's podcast buffet.
Yes.
So we put these out so that everybody can get a taste of Yuki's mind, because Yuki's such an interesting fellow that you're welcome. No, for real.
I don't know what way, but
in every way. I mean, you got a lot of great opinions. You know a lot about art and life, and just interesting stuff. So we like to pick your brain.
Well, I don't know. I could be just noisy person.
I'm sure to everyone, there's some people out there who think you're nosy and noisy, but not all of them. Maybe 2/3 of the people think you're not, and 1/3 think you are. So fuck that 1/3. We don't want them.
Okay.
All right. So
Yes.
So what we're doing today is we're gonna do a spotlight on an artist that Yuki and I both found out that we really love. Right?
Yes.
His name is Mr. Samuel Fuller.
Yes.
Right? Yuki, what can you tell the people out there in Buffet Land about Mr. Samuel Fuller?
Well, Samuel Fuller, he's very, I think, underrated director. He's a lot better than people think, or critic or media think. And then that Peckinpah is a lot more famous. But I see him and very similar, Samuel Fuller, little, smaller scale version, but his style kind of similar to Peckinpah. His movie has all violence and then, racism and then, psychological, story or, every which way his movie is interesting or something to, something you think about, makes you think.
Right, there's always some sort of a theme to get you to think, or socio-political theme, or something to do with war.
Right, or war. I think because that's coming from he went to the war.
Oh, yeah. We'll get through his whole personal life, right? Because he has such a colorful life.
Yeah, and then he was a journalist. So, the way he's looking at the world, that's becoming his filmmaking.
Yes. So apologies to anybody who started out with our goofy things about Yuki kissing men's butt cheeks, but we really do want to shine a spotlight on Samuel Fuller, one of the greatest American artists, in my opinion. Great filmmaker, great writer, and not just a writer of movies. He wrote novels.
Right.
Like you said, he was a journalist. And I think at the end of his life, he was unfairly maligned for a movie that he made that was an anti-racist statement that people just misconstrued without even watching it and saying it was a racist movie, a movie called White Dog.
The movie wasn't even released, I think, right?
It was not even released in America for a long time, because it was like, I don't know, people who didn't see it just went after it, and the movie's a completely anti-racist film.
Right.
It's insane. So let's try to, you and I both did a little research, right?
Right.
Okay, let's just go through maybe sort of chronologically, because I watched on the Criterion Channel, there's 2 documentaries about Samuel Fuller. One of them is called A Fuller Life. Now, this one is really interesting because it's Samuel Fuller's daughter who produced and directed it, And there's a lot of famous people in there, a lot of great artists, Wim Wenders, the director, and all sorts of people reading. So they don't get interviewed. They read from Samuel Fuller's autobiography, and then they do like montages or cutaways to things that he's talking about. Clips from his movies, clips from his newspaper days, pictures of him.
So what? This is his daughter.
His daughter produced this documentary, and it's called The Fuller Life, based on his autobiography called The Third Face. Great documentary. I mean, really. And then there's another one called, I'm going to probably get this wrong because I don't have it opened up to me, but it's something like The Rifle, the Typewriter, and the Movie Camera. This is an hour-long one that's also on the Criterion Channel. And there's also great people in there. Tim Robbins is sort of the narrator / host of the program. And there's a lot of people in it. Jim Jarmusch, the director, Quentin Tarantino. And they kind of go into Fuller's office that's still there. Even after his death, they preserved it in all sorts of books and papers and unused scripts, props. They had the steel helmet in there. You know the movie The Steel Helmet that he did?
Wow.
It's there. So they kind of go around his thing and they talk about his life. So to begin a little bit about Fuller, he started out as a young boy and he got really infatuated with the newspaper business. So I guess the way that they described it, and some of this I might get wrong, so you should go watch the documentaries to get the exact information. But from what I can recall, he was saw people giving out these newspapers, and he wanted to like kind of figure out what they were doing, and he worked his way in to get a job while he was still in school to work at a printing press for a newspaper, and would like sleep there, and his mother said, you sure you want to do this? And she allowed him to sort of like have a job while he was going to school because he was so enamored of the business, which led him to become a journalist down the line. He started, asking, can I write stories, this and that, at a young age. And he started to go out and write stories. And then from becoming a journalist, he went and he basically saw America. He worked his way across all sorts of parts of the country, writing as he went, getting paid, and going to different parts. He went up and down the Mississippi. He went to places where they would pick fruit and just did stories.
Oh, I see.
And then from there, he went to World War II,
right?
And he was in one of the most infamous infantry units, the Big Red One.
He made a movie.
Eventually he made a movie. And a factoid about Samuel Fuller that's amazing is that he's the only American filmmaker who ever stormed the beach at Normandy and then recreated it on screen. How about that?
Yeah,
that's amazing. So let's get into a little bit, because I'm not very learned about his like journalistic stuff, and I didn't really delve into that.
Right.
But let's talk about, he started out when he was in World War II. Some of his books, his novels and screenplays had gotten optioned by Hollywood and stuff, and then he went to the war, so he was learning about things that were being made while he was there. Is that crazy or what?
It's crazy, yeah, but hey, learning by doing it.
Yeah, and then, so what do you think, Yuki, like, just your opinion on being in World War II, what would you have done? Like, because he said in this documentary that his main creature comfort that he wanted people to send to him from back home were cigars. What would you want sent?
God, I don't know. I was born after World War II, so that's worse stuff and something a lot more than I can imagine.
Yeah, I mean, from like creature comforts from home, I would hope maybe just like, I don't know, a soap. Good soap. I don't know. To keep the athlete's foot off the feet. I mean, I'm sure there's some bad things that go on in the war.
Maybe food.
Cleanliness. Yeah, food, but I'm sure the army has rations and stuff, and it's hard to keep certain things as you're going. Anyway, back to Samuel Fuller.
Yes.
So he goes through the war in this infamous infantry unit, has all these incredible experiences, comes back and gets involved because some of his stuff was in Hollywood. He gets involved in Hollywood and he starts to become a director.
Right.
Did
he say the filmmaking is war?
Yeah. He said a few great quotes. One of them was, "Life is in color, but black and white is more realistic." I agree with that. I think black and white
Black and
films
white.
sometimes are better than color because it just makes you. It's like a dream.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of it, almost all of his early stuff is in black and white. Then he went to color, and then he goes back to black and white for Shock Corridor in the '60s.
Right.
It's amazing. So let's start sort of from the beginning. You watched certain ones that I didn't. I watched certain ones that you didn't.
Right.
So I Shot Jesse James.
I never seen that one.
Okay, so that was his first movie that he wrote and directed. Great movie. There's another movie that they did many years later with Brad Pitt and Casey Affleck.
Oh yeah, right. That was a remake.
It wasn't exactly a remake. It was a retelling of the same story.
Oh, I see.
This one is, I don't know. I feel like it was very influential on a lot of people because it's probably one of the first. I mean, I've heard somebody say somewhere that it was one of the first times where it's like the gunslinger that everybody wants to assassinate for clout. Is where that sort of came from, because the story of I Saw Jesse James, if you don't know the real story in real life, is Jesse James was a bank robber. He had a group of people, a gang, and he wouldn't really let that gang do anything but what he wanted them to do, while he was able to still have a good life, like a wife and things like that. So this guy, Robert Ford, got very jealous and wanted to have his own life, but Jesse James wouldn't let him. So what did Robert Ford do? Shot Jesse James in the back. Not even in the front.
From back.
He like a coward. He shot Jesse James in the back. Then to add insult to injury, well, although I read about Fuller and he said everybody glorifies Jesse James, but he was a violent murderer, thief, and that he kind of felt like Robert Ford did a thing that was coming to Jesse James. So he had sympathy for Robert Ford for what he did, where people would call Robert Ford a coward for shooting him in the back.
Yeah.
Samuel Fuller said Jesse James had it coming. So that's why he was interested in that story. What also becomes, and I won't spoil the whole thing because it's really, really cool movie.
I have to see it.
Yeah, you'll love it. And but Robert Ford, in order to cash in on his fame, once he kills Jesse James, he's the most famous gunslinger in the West, even though he's like sort of like not really that tough. He starts to recreate the murder on stage for money.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and people come from all around to watch him recreate the murder of Jesse James. What about that shit? Isn't that crazy?
Crazy?
Yeah. So yeah, and then there's like a love story.
Right.
It's really like for a first debut written and directed movie, it's a brilliant piece, and honestly, one of the most captivating westerns I've seen almost ever.
Wow.
Yeah,
Really?
Yeah, man, you gotta watch it. So
Okay.
then the next one after that was The Baron of Arizona, another
Western?
semi-western.
Oh.
It's based on another true story starring Vincent Price, and it's about this man who almost scammed the entire state of Arizona out of their land so he can own the whole thing. It's amazing. And Vincent Price, it's one of Vincent Price's first starring roles. In fact, it might have been his first lead role where he led a movie. And another really like underrated, awesome film. And again, I won't get too far into the details, but if you like westerns and you like black and white and you like Vincent Price, this is the film for you.
And then it's not even horror movie, right?
It's not even a horror movie, but there are, as always with Samuel Fuller, dark elements that make it close to thriller or noir. You know, it's skirting the edge of realistic horrors that you and me as people would experience, not like Freddy Krueger type stuff or Edgar Allan Poe type stuff.
Oh, Krueger, Freddy, that's bullshit. That's bullshit.
That's for another episode.
Yes, that's okay.
So then after that, he does this movie called The Steel Helmet. Now, The Steel Helmet is a war movie, and it's semi-based on his personal experiences, but instead of being in World War II, it's in South Korea, set during the Korean War. And I won't say anything because I think people should just go out and watch this movie, but one factoid, there's a little Korean kid who's like the main character sidekick during most of it. Yeah. His name is Short Round.
Oh my god, that's probably Lucas or Spielberg took it from
150,000%. They said, I guess, as an honor to that movie because they were fans that they nicknamed Short Round. How about that shit?
Yeah.
Wow. And this is another great harrowing, like underrated thing. They sort of like there's this infantry unit that sort of all the like surviving members of different platoons get together and form a new unit, and then they hole up at a Buddhist temple. And there's these really interesting things about peace and war, and oh my god, it's a beautifully written movie. So then the next one that I watched, I skipped over a few. There's Park Row, Fixed Bayonet. I didn't see those, but Pick Up on South Street.
Oh,
now,
yeah.
I know you watched this one.
Yes, yesterday.
Yesterday.
Oh, not the first time, maybe third time. So.
Yeah. So tell me your thoughts on Pick Up on South Street, because I've been talking for fucking 20 minutes.
Well, first, that's great casting, and then Richard Widmark, him being pickpocket is very interesting.
Yeah.
And then I like who was that woman, older
She's
woman.
great. Thelma Ritter.
Thelma Ritter. Yeah, she was in Rare Window.
Yes, she was in a few things. But this movie was a revelation. This woman, it's such a great character, because you don't really think that an older woman is going to get such a great role.
Right.
But this is a great role.
Yeah, she's a great character actress anyway. But they're really good characters. And then just whole setting, New York, and then Richard Widmark, what's his name? Skip or something.
Let's see the character's name. Let's see. It is Skip. Yes, Skip McCoy.
Yeah. He lives in this shack by the
By the
waterfront.
by the water. Yeah.
And then what I like is he doesn't have a refrigerator, so he
He keeps the beer cold in the water.
Yeah.
He has a rope and
Right.
like a bucket. But also, what's interesting, we can get into semi-spoiler territories. We won't sell the whole thing, but he hides things that he pickpockets in that.
And then the bottom of the box. Yeah.
And one of the things that he takes in the very first scene of the movie, accidentally, is some sort of like communist spy.
Yeah. And then the other thing is that the communist spy, the theming is, it's not just a crime, subject for the film noir. It's very advanced, that time, 1950. I mean,
all the stuff.
Yeah,
all the
stuff.
things was going on with the McCarthyism and all that.
It's there. So
yeah, they went after him, Fuller, and said that it was a pro-communist movie, and he said, just because my characters say pro-communist things doesn't make me a pro-communist.
Right.
It's my character.
Yeah.
And he has to say realistic things in order for him to be the villain. Like, what the hell? So, but you like this one, right?
I like this one, yeah.
This is one of the best crime noirs I've ever seen.
Yeah.
And the woman, the lead actress, the femme fatale.
Oh, yeah, I liked her too.
So good.
And then happy ending. I really like that. I mean, many think, the film noir cannot be happy ending. Why not?
Yeah.
Yeah, boy gets girl, and the girl gets, forget the old abused boyfriend and get the new one.
Yeah, especially if he's, tricking you into carrying communist spy secrets and get you looped into all sorts of law.
So every which way, because, so unique, unusual compared to other. It's not really just regular, the element. It's just all twist and turn,
Yeah, I mean, I'm telling you, I was captivated the whole time. And sometimes with noir, I get a little like, not all noir. Some of it I'm not bored, but sometimes I just get a little like, all right, when we get to the twist, what do we do? Because some of the scenes are so melodramatic. This isn't melodramatic. Like, there are the scenes where the guy and the girl are talking about being in love after like a day, but it's almost there's something real about it, more real. Fuller adds a realism to it that isn't in a lot of
those two characters becoming attracted to each other. That was so quick,
It was quick, but like I'm saying, in other movies, when it's so quick, it's like, I loved you since the first moment I saw you. But in this, there is a fire and a passion in it that you could sort of see. I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the acting. Maybe it's the direction. Sure. But it works where other movies fail.
Right.
Yeah. So Pick Up on South Street. What you recommend, of course.
Yes, but I don't recommend the remake. There's a remake called The Cape Town Affair,
Oh no! What year?
1967.
Okay.
Maybe 10 years, 10 some years after. And then this one, Samuel Fuller also wrote it, but different director. What pisses me off is it's the same thing. All, camera angle, shot, editing. It's the same thing.
So they didn't. It's just like karaoke. They didn't really.
Yeah, they like nothing. They go
Like same thing, only worse.
exactly. Poor acting, slow. I mean, compared to original, this is totally wasting time. And then the Richard Widmark part played by James Brolin,
Okay.
and then it's his first starting role movie.
Right.
And then the female part, Jacqueline Bisset.
Oh well, I mean they're all right, but it's just maybe the directing wasn't as sharp.
No, yeah, that's exactly right.
That's sad. Well, Fuller, one thing that I noticed about him as I was watching all of this stuff is, and he influenced so many people. I'm talking Martin
Right.
Scorsese, Tarantino, Jarmusch. I mean, the list goes on and on.
Right.
Motivated movements is what I've noticed about Fuller's directing style. Some directors don't do that. They just like let the camera play out, or they move to show you something. Fuller moves with the actors whenever. So if an actor stands up, the camera moves. If the actor moves across the room, the camera moves to a new position, and it's always motivated by what the characters are doing and not what the story is dictating. Sometimes it's what the story is dictating, but it's like a kinetic movement, almost giving you the emotion of each character as they let forth their feelings. It's an amazing directing style that once we get to Shock Corridor, that's the one where he really shines. But so, after Pickup on South Street in his filmography here, I kind of missed a bunch. Hell and High Water, I didn't see.
I do.
House of Bamboo?
Oh, House of Bamboo
Okay.
is my favorite. That's a film noir, and then it's amazing. That time, like around just 10 years after we lost the war, he went to Japan. He went to Tokyo and shot the entire movie over there.
Yeah.
Like what? 50 years ahead of time, like Black Rain,
He
Fuller did it already.
Yeah, he was fascinated by Asian culture and other cultures in general, yeah.
Because Iron Helmet,
Steel Helmet, yeah, absolutely.
Already, that he went to Asia, right?
Yeah, the first movie about the Korean War.
China Girl,
China Gate? Yeah.
China
yeah.
Gate, and then this one
House
in
of
Japan,
Bamboo.
House of Bamboo.
So House of Bamboo, he shot on location.
In Tokyo,
Wow,
yeah.
wow.
And then, that like a Caucasian gang, their rise in Tokyo with Japanese economy. It's like amazing. Like, who would think that, right? We just lost the war, and he's already thinking, okay.
And
Japan lost the war.
and commenting on the socio-political ideas in Japan.
Okay, white guys and go to Japan, living around messing around the Japanese society or economy.
Yeah.
But those crime gang from America is just rising up.
That's crazy. Who's in that one?
Robert Ryan.
Oh wow.
He is head of the gang.
Whoa.
And then-
Yeah, this is one I wanted to watch, but I just didn't have enough time.
Yeah.
Robert Ryan, Robert Stack,
yeah.
of Unsolved Mysteries.
Right, and then so he come to from America, and then try to find the war buddies in Tokyo, and then
they're a
just
gang.
a gang. Yeah,
Wow, that's such a cool story.
It's a cool story, and then it's a film noir, but it's color.
Oh, interesting.
There's a talk. Oh, the film noir cannot be the color. Like, why not? Film noir can be color.
Yeah.
And then ending. I think this is also a happy ending, but then many people say film noir cannot be happy ending. Why not? Guy gets girl, and then they're walking. I think like a shrine or temple, going away from the camera. happy ending.
So Fuller can give a noir a happy ending. That's multiple times he's done it now.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Oh, so then after that you got Chinagate,
Right.
which you mentioned.
Oh, I like the Angie Dickinson is in it.
Hell yeah. Yeah, you can't say no to Angie Dickinson.
That's right.
Who later went on to do, you know that movie. The one with the De Palma.
Oh, the Dress to Kill.
Dress to Kill.
Yeah.
For some reason, I was going to say Body Double, but my brain was farting. But yeah, Body Double. Dress to Kill. And Nat King Cole is in this one.
Really?
The actor Nat King Cole. I can't believe that. Now I want to watch that because I love Nat King Cole, man. One of my favorite songs of all time.
Wait, she's in the House of Bamboo?
No, Chinagate.
Oh, Chinagate. Oh.
One of my favorite songs of all time is by Nat King Cole. It's called That Sunday, That Summer. Holy, listen to this song. If I had to choose one moment.
Now,
so good.
He play character, he is in it as a singer.
It just says here, because this is one of the ones I missed, unfortunately, which makes me happy in a way, because we did all this research for Samuel Fuller, and we each watched like 10 movies each, but we still have ones to watch, which makes me quite excited. He's a character named Goldie, so I guess he's in it. Lee Van Cleef is in it? Ooh.
Oh, Lee Van Cleef, yes.
Oh, yeah, all right.
I have to see it again. I saw it a long time ago, so I kind of forgot. Yeah.
Oh, that makes me really excited. Okay, so then we have Run of the Arrow, which is another Western, which I don't know much about, but Rod Steiger is in it, so of course you gotta check that out.
He's good. He's good at Western, war movie, contemporary, noir.
Contemporary.
So he can do all the genres.
Even art house films. When he gets to the 60s, he does these slam bang 2 in a row art house movies. It's incredible. So then after that,
he's so talented. Yeah.
So talented. After that, he does 40 Guns, which is it looks like another Western,
right?
With Barbara Stanwyck. Ooh. See, he also casts impeccably. You want to watch these people, right? Then he does a movie called Verboten, which is a war film,
right?
And I don't recognize anybody from that one, but I'll still watch it because it's Sam Fuller.
Right.
He's the star sometimes. The Crimson Kimono.
Oh, Crimson Kimono. Huh?
Yeah, that's another one. Oh, and that guy from Die Hard is in it. James Shigeta.
Yes.
Shigeta.
Yes.
Oh, that's the dude who he's Nakatomi.
Yeah, Nakatomi. Yeah. See, Samuel Fuller, he really likes Asian culture. Though.
Yeah, that's incredible. Then Underworld USA, which is, I guess, that's a crime thriller.
Crime film, yeah.
Then he does some TV. Now, okay, here we go. Shock Corridor.
Oh, that's another interesting because the journalist go undercover in the mental hospital.
Yes, to solve a murder.
Yeah.
But guess what happens? He slowly starts to go insane. And so Shock Corridor, no joke,
right,
is slowly becoming one of my favorite movies of all time. I've watched it 3 times now, and I honestly, every time it's more powerful because I'm like anticipating the parts, and I'm starting to learn the monologues or the pieces and the things that I didn't notice the first time.
Right.
And the lead actress in it, who plays his girlfriend, who pretends to be his sister, who he is attracted to, so that he could get put in the mental institution. Constance Towers. Now we'll talk about her because she's also in The Naked Kiss, and I got to tell you, that's one of the greatest female performances I've ever seen in The Naked Kiss. But in Shock Corridor, so yeah, it's about a journalist who, in order to try to win the Pulitzer Prize, goes undercover, but with the help of like a psychiatrist and his editor. He drives himself insane in a fake way, pretending that he's
insane.
Yeah, he pretends he's insane, but he pretends he's attracted to his sister. Right. His girlfriend, who's like a showgirl, she's like a burlesque dancer, pretends that he's her brother and says he's like attracted to her and tries to attack her and stuff. It's really fucking dark. and then they put him in the insane asylum, and he starts to meet all of these weird characters in the insane asylum, like the humongous dude who's like the opera singer.
Yeah.
Oh my God, remember that? And this predates the Chappelle Show by what, 30 years? It's the black guy who thinks he's a Ku Klux Klan member. But the way that they do it, it's like a commentary on America. Like, Fuller didn't make that character as a joke. He made that character as a serious statement against the state of affairs in 1963, you know?
Way ahead of time.
He was so ahead of his time. Then on top of that, he has like these other characters, this scientist who kind of breaks his mind and starts to act like a child, and all sorts of stuff. And slowly he makes his way through these characters, and it's also a predecessor of like One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest, right? And the black and white photography, the guy who shot it, me and Liz looked him up and called him out because he shot all these insane movies, but his name is Stanley Cortez. This guy, holy shit, the way that Shot Corridor looks is the way that if I ever make a movie, I don't want to shoot it in color. I want to shoot it in black and white and make it look like fucking Shot Corridor. It's so gorgeous. And then the we won't like spoil like the story climax, but there's a climax in the movie where it's raining indoors. You remember that? And
No, I don't remember.
You don't remember? Oh my God. So Fuller waited. So he was getting a little pushback from some of the investors and stuff. They weren't sure, but because it was like the movie was so strange and the dailies they were seeing. So he told his story, waited to the last day, flooded the set like insane, right? Whoa. So that it was destroyed so that he didn't have to do any reshoots. Because even if the investors wanted to reshoot, the set's gone, so they're not going to want to spend money to rebuild the sets. No, he just flooded the set with this rain sequence inside, and that was it. So he got his way in a way by being smart and writing that into the movie. Yeah, imagine. So yeah, Shot Corridor, man. When was the first time you saw that? Or when was the first time you remember being introduced to Fuller?
The back about, I think when I saw White Dog.
We'll get to White Dog. I want to talk about 2 or 3 more movies before that, because that's the climax, which is
right. Oh, then before that, I see the big red one.
Yes,
that was like 40-some years ago.
Yeah, that was early 80s.
Right, I saw the movie in the movie theater. Then, who is this guy? That's how I started.
That's awesome. See, I wish I could have seen the big red one in the theater. That's such a cool thing. So after Shot Corridor, which is my personal favorite and is now on my list of infinitely rewatchable movies. I mean, I could watch this movie forever now and never get bored of it. If you want to watch it now, I'll watch it. You know what I mean? Like, it's that kind of a movie. The Naked Kiss, the very next year. So he did Shot Corridor was 1963. 1964 is The Naked Kiss.
Naked Kiss is after, huh? Oh.
Right after. And this one has one of the most insane, awesome openings I've ever seen in a movie.
I don't remember.
So of course the story is a former prostitute relocates to a button-down suburb, determined to fit in with the mainstream society, but perverse secrets simmer beneath the wholesome surface. So basically, she's a prostitute that tries to reform herself. Something happens, a crime that she's not involved in, but they start to pin it on her because her past starts to come out. It's a great movie, but the opening is she's a prostitute. She's in a room, maybe a hotel room or something, with a man, and she's fighting him. She's beating him up, and it's a shot, a POV from the man, and she's like hitting at the camera, and all of a sudden the man, he's trying to like ward her off. He's trying to stop her from fighting, and he reaches and he like grabs her hair, and the fucking hair comes off, and she's completely bald. And she's like, rah! She just looks crazy. And when me and Liz were watching this movie, Liz Shack, our producer, I like jumped because I was like, holy shit, I didn't know that was coming. It's such a shocking opening, you know? And we'll do a spoiler warning at the beginning, because if you want to like go out and watch these movies, before you hear us talk about them. That's probably the best way to experience them because they're so powerful, especially something like The Naked Kiss.
I don't remember the bold part, but I kind of remember she's hitting him, and that's a POV shot, right?
Yeah, it's a POV shot, and she's like coming,
Right.
and then all of a sudden, like her hair is gone, and it was like, what?
I have to see it again. And
It's so good. And then there's some creepy sequence with like little kids singing, and it's just a great movie. And Constance Towers gives an incredible performance. One of my favorite female performances of all time.
Sometimes I confuse the Naked Kiss and the Kiss of Death.
Yeah, those are they're not similar when you like watch them, but they're
title kind of.
Yeah.
And then the other movie, the Richard Widmark is in it, and then he pushed the wheelchair woman. So I always confuse those two movies.
Yeah, so then after that he does some TV, whatever. But then he goes does this movie Shark with Burt Reynolds, which was a complete disaster. He wanted to take his name off of it because the producers fucked with him so bad that he couldn't make his movie the way he wanted to.
He's better independent than, you know, like a Peckinpah. I mean, when they work with the studio, they
screw
fight.
them. Yes. And apparently this may not be 100% true. I didn't really look into this, but I read some of the trivia on Shark and why it was such a disaster. Mm-hmm. And one of the things says that a stuntman died on the movie and was bit by a shark or something like that. And Fuller was like devastated, you know. And, and on top of the fact that his movie's not coming out the way that he wanted, the producers then decided to rename the movie. It was named something else. They renamed it Shark and then basically promoted the movie based on the fact that a guy died on the set. There was a Time magazine article, and Fuller wanted nothing to do with that. He didn't want to exploit a man's death in order to sell tickets to his movie. So I tried to watch it. It's a mess. You can't even watch them, even with Burt Reynolds in it, a young Burt Reynolds. It's horrible. So I would say avoid Shark if you can.
Okay. I never seen it in you. I didn't even know that. So
yeah. So then he does a lot of other stuff in the 70s. Like not a lot, but a few other movies in the 70s which I didn't see. No, actually, wait, it's all TV. So he in the 70s.
Well, is there any? He wrote it, and then he showed in France or Germany something pigeon.
Oh, I don't know. Maybe he just wrote it. Because right now I'm just looking at what he's written and directed at the same time. But let's see his...
I thought he directed that one.
Let's see.
Something Pigeon Street or something...
Maybe. Let's look. I'm looking through... I'm looking through his... Pick Up on South Street. Let's see. Hello, High Water. Prince of Place.
Dead the Pigeon something.
Let's see. Dogface, Underworld. We're going through.
Yeah, Dead the Pigeon on something street. 1970, early 70, I think.
Yeah, I don't see it here. It's a TV show.
It's a TV show?
Yeah,
oh,
okay,
man.
it's a TV show, and the series title here is Tatort. Tetrot.
Okay.
Here, Dead Pigeon on Beethoven Street. In German, it's Tetrot.
Okay.
And yeah, it's a television program, police procedural, directed by Samuel Fuller.
Yes, okay.
Okay.
I saw that in the theater.
Oh! You're in the theater?
Yeah.
Why? When?
Well, because this was TV program, but some, Samuel Fuller festival or something, and I saw it in the movie theater. I never saw it on TV. That's why I didn't even know this was TV show until now, because I saw it in the movie theater.
Oh, that's insane. Was it cinematic enough to be in the theater?
Yeah,
really?
It's fun, but it's very interesting movie. I mean, I really can't remember everything, but it's Samuel Fuller. That's the only reason.
And it was in German or
they
English?
showed in German, but I saw it in
dubbed.
Oh, yeah, dubbed in English.
Wow.
Oh, you know what?
What?
I saw it in Tokyo.
Oh, okay. All right.
Not here.
Aha! But it was still a TV show that was shown in the theaters in Tokyo.
Right.
And you
in
recommend
the Japanese, I recommend it. It's very interesting movie, yeah.
Hell yeah, I'm down to watch that. I'm honestly, before I pass off this earth, I'm going to watch every single Samuel Fuller movie. I have decided. All right, so after the 70s, he does The Big Red One in 1980, which is based on his time in World War II.
Is that Mark Hamill?
Mark Hamill, Mr. Luke Skywalker himself is in it. You know who else is in it?
Lee Marvin.
Lee Marvin, yes. Lee Marvin, the great Lee Marvin. But also Robert Carradine, the son of John Carradine, which I never knew that. So, Robert Carradine is the lead in Revenge of the Nerds.
Right.
Which was shot after The Big Red One. But it's so funny because Robert Carradine is obviously a great actor because you watch The Big Red One, he is Samuel Fuller. He plays basically what Samuel Fuller...
He's the character?
He's the character, chomping on the cigar. Right. Some guy's reading his book and he goes up to him, he goes, "That's my book." And he goes, "No, I bought this book." And he goes, "No, I wrote that book." So, and then he goes on and does Revenge of the Nerds. Like, that's amazing. So, and he's, I didn't know.
Wait a minute. Is that Robert Carradine?
Robert Carradine. David? No, David is, I guess, his brother. So there was 3 Carradines, Robert, David, and Keith. The guy who was in Mrs. Miller, McCabe and Mrs. Miller, the Robert Altman movie.
Oh, okay.
So they're, I guess they're brothers who are the descendants of John Carradine, who is like the most prolific actor of all time, supposedly. He acted in the most movies ever, John Carradine.
Now, die in some Asia with female clothes. That's David the Carradine?
No, that's David, yeah.
Okay.
That's, unfortunately, sadly, they said that he was...
he was in the Kill Bill.
Yes, that's David.
That's David,
yeah,
right?
Yeah.
And then David liked Marco a lot.
Oh, your mentor Mako, who is a famous actor as well.
When they did the Canon movie, David always using Mako like a Canon action movie. They shot
action movie, yeah.
They lots of movies shot in Philippines, right?
Oh, so they were friends.
Marco went a lot, many times in Philippines.
That's the Carradines. Say what you will about Nepo babies. Everybody's talking about Nepo babies these years. Nepo babies, who cares? The Carradines are great actors, all of them. So even if they are Nepo babies, they earn their place in Hollywood history.
Nepotism thing?
Yeah, everybody's saying, "Oh, you're a Nepo baby because you're the daughter of Johnny Depp and you shouldn't act. That's like nepotism. Who cares?
Well, that nepotism is all about in Hollywood.
Yeah, if you are good, then it shouldn't matter. If you suck and you keep getting jobs, then it matters.
Right.
But if you're a good actor and you prove yourself and you're doing your own thing, Nepo babies, I hate that shit. Because I think that people should be judged on their own merits, not just because maybe they got a shot faster than they would have, but if they have talent and they can keep it up, then it shouldn't matter, in my opinion.
Or if our parents are big time producer, we will be working big studio movie.
That's
probably.
right, and I wouldn't have a goddamn problem with it. And I would succeed like a motherfucker.
Yeah.
I would work my ass off. Just because they're Nepo babies, as the people are saying, doesn't mean that they're not doing good jobs.
Yeah, there is Barrymore.
Oh, there's so many.
Yeah.
Barrymore's, hey, say what you will about what Charlie Sheen turned out to be. He was a good actor. Emilio Estevez. They're both the sons of Martin Sheen. There's so many great actors and actresses. Jamie Lee Curtis is a Nepo baby.
Yeah, Tony Curtis and...
Yeah, Tony Curtis and that other woman.
Janet Leigh.
Janet Leigh, that's it.
And then Janet Leigh and the Vic Morrow, their baby is
Jennifer Jason Leigh. And then you have the one who was in Singing in the Rain. Her daughter is Princess Leia.
Yeah.
Debbie Reynolds. Come on. So you're telling
Fisher,
me...
right?
Yeah. It's ridiculous. And then, of course, Samuel Fuller's daughter goes on and honors him in a documentary. So you're saying... Oh, she's a Nepo baby. She should never be allowed to make a documentary about her father because she's a Nepo baby. Get out of here. Like, everybody's so jealous of everybody nowadays.
Yeah.
Like, just because you're not where you want to be doesn't mean you have to take away from other people. Other people's success doesn't mean that you're a failure. All it means is that you have to work harder to get more success. And yeah, sure, if you get an opportunity, whatever, but your opportunities will come if you work hard enough and you're good.
Yeah.
That's my opinion about Nepo babies. And I'm sure Samuel Fuller didn't care about Nepo babies.
That's
he said,
right.
do good work, you get the job.
Right.
You know?
Right.
So, okay.
Yeah.
Now let's talk about the big one, because this is going to be sort of the climax of our Samuel Fuller piece, is White Dog.
Yes.
Now, White Dog is a movie that it's about a white dog. This girl finds a white dog that's lost.
Right.
And she's white herself.
Right. That Christy McNichol.
Christy McNichol, she finds...
Who is that black actor?
I love him. Paul Winfield, I think is his
Paul
name.
Winfield. That's right.
And he is... Anytime he shows up in a movie, he elevates the thing.
Right.
Anytime, right? He's in Terminator. He's in all sorts of movies.
I don't remember, but I did work with him.
You work with Paul Winfield?
Yeah. I like way before, even the way Denzel became famous, I did the theater play called Checkmate.
It was him and Denzel?
Yeah, that's the Paul Winfield and Denzel.
Oh, that's incredible. That must have been amazing to see live.
Yeah, and then, I was kid, and they were kid, Denzel was before famous, and this is the story. I said, gee, you were good. You will be big star someday. That was the... But this is a fantastic play, and then this is the only play originally produced in Los Angeles, went to Broadway.
Oh, opposite, yeah.
But opposite. Usually, all show coming from East End, from England, right?
Yeah.
The Broadway people, they don't mind, but they do mind the show coming from Los Angeles.
Right.
So they didn't like it. And then, top of that, the producer of this show was a drug dealer.
Oh, yeah, I remember you telling me about this.
And then I think he's still in
jail or whatever?
Yeah.
Well, Paul Winfield, I think he passed away, unfortunately. Right. But he's incredible in White Dog. And then Burl Ives is in this movie. Burl Ives, obviously famous for Rudolph the Red-Nosed Reindeer.
Oh.
Yeah, and you know what's funny? Liz Shack, our producer, we were watching this movie together, and she said, "Oh, Burl Ives, he supposedly has the biggest dick in Hollywood, the biggest penis." But she then realized...
How does she know?
Well, the rumors. Okay. But then she realized she was actually thinking of Milton Berle. Milton Berle has a hog on him. I'm not going to disparage Burl Ives' penis because it's probably humongous.
But the biggest, like, how big?
Well,
3 feet?
Apparently Milton Berle used to whip it out, and because people would say, yeah, it's not that big, and he would show only half of it and would win the dick contest. Yeah, exactly.
So what, he's 3 knees?
It's probably like, 3/4 of the way below the knee. Milton Berle. Oh, and then my dad said there was another guy in the 40s or 30s that had even bigger, Forrest something. I got to look him up. Oh. But if you're interested, this came up because Burl Ives is in the movie.
Oh my God.
And Burl Ives, I'm sure, has a humongous penis too. But in this movie, he's, when he came on screen, I wasn't like reading because I wanted to really watch this movie and because I was captivated. I'm like, I recognize that voice. Who is this guy? So after the movie ended, I looked it up, and it was, great film. Great film. I mean, and so apparently what happened is the movie was being made, and some organization, I don't know which one, started to put out bad words about the movie, saying that it was a racist film.
But it's about the racist.
I know.
So, I mean, it has to be that, right?
I know. And it somehow got disparaged in the press. And Fuller was really devastated by it because he's making this, like, incredible anti-racist allegory.
Why?
And ends up being punished because they say that his movie's racist. It's insane. And when you watch this movie, there is absolutely no mistake of what they're doing.
Well, because, I mean, the movie is racist because it's about the racist, so that doesn't make him a racist.
No.
People stupid.
It's just the worst kind of people do that to others. Do that to artists, especially an artist like Fuller, who's at the pit. That White Dog should have won Oscars.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't know first, like, what this, white dog, and then basically white dog kill black people.
Yeah.
So
because it was trained
that
by
way,
a racist man, and that's like sort of revealed later on in the story in a very interesting way. And so, yeah, and then what they do is they try to retrain the dog. Paul Winfield, who's a black guy, starts to try to retrain the dog and communicate with it and stop it from attacking him.
It's a learning, I was just watching The Roots the other day.
Okay.
Not the original one, remake Roots.
Oh.
I didn't know that.
I didn't know they remade Roots.
When slaves run away and then, dog chasing, I think it's coming from... So, people like me from Japan, I have no idea dog are like why dog... Because probably, before and then after, around the Civil War time, maybe they trained the dog to attack black people.
Yeah. Oh, so it's horrible.
It's all coming from that history.
Yeah.
So, for me, it's very interesting to watch that subject. And then, never thought about... I mean, I learned about the racist, but I never thought filmmaker is racist.
Never.
No, it's about the racist, so, it's subject, so nothing wrong with that movie.
No, and like, okay, I can understand if the subject matter is too controversial for you, that you would then have an issue with the controversy behind it, but I wouldn't understand. That's somebody who didn't watch the movie, didn't care to watch the movie, had to somehow form their agenda and probably made some sort of money by going against this movie for their organization, whatever it was. I don't remember what it was. And that's just a horrible thing and a disservice to the American public, in my opinion, because that movie didn't get released for many years until the Criterion people put it out.
Yeah, when I saw it, the Newark.
Newark, you went to Newark in L.A.
Yeah, the only one theater.
And this was what year? Probably like the early 2000s, right?
Yeah, very, 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 very
so
later.
Much later.
So much later. Yeah.
Oh my God. And I would recommend to anyone either pick up the disc, go to the Criterion channel.
Is the disc available? Or?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Criterion still has it available. Okay. Yeah. So I would recommend that, or it's probably streaming on Amazon Prime. If you want to rent it for $2.99 or whatever.
I recommend that.
I highly recommend this movie. And then, going backwards and watching, because then Fuller only made maybe one thing after White Dog.
I thought that White Dog was the last one, no?
He made a couple of movies, but they were all overseas. He was able to get financing from maybe one or two movies. I mean, he did the documentaries as well. The Typewriter One, and he did this movie, a documentary with Jim Jarmusch about an unmade movie called Tigrero that he was doing overseas, and some of that unused footage from like Japan, and he went to this uncontacted tribe. These are probably two different projects, but a lot of his unused footage went into Shot Corridor. So remember, there's the few points where it's black and white, but then it goes into color, and it's this beautiful footage of either Japan or like overseas.
I see.
So he used some of his unused footage in those movies. So Tigrero, that's also on the Criterion channel. So let's of course, I recommend. This is one of the greatest American filmmakers ever, right? Samuel Fuller.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
That's who we've been talking about for the last hour.
Yes.
I mean, you recommend to any movie lover out there to go and study his filmography.
Fuller, yeah.
But he was also a novelist, which we didn't really touch upon just a little bit. But something that I got, because I was looking for his novels, I can't find them anywhere. And then I found Brainquake. Now, this was a thing that got, I think, released posthumously. It's a noir book that was released much later.
Why the story is?
The freaking opening scene is a baby shooting a man.
Baby shooting a man in the Central Park.
In Central Park, and then the mystery becomes like, well, how did this baby shoot a man? Well, who's behind this? What did the baby really shoot the man? And it's really freaking awesome, and it's like a hard-boiled noir, but it's like set sort of in modern times, like in the 90s or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then they remember that the female police officer.
Yeah. Yeah.
I thought that her character is kind of wild too.
Yo, the whole book is wild.
Well, whole book is wild.
Yeah, so I recommend reading that because I got that on Kindle for, I don't know, $10 or something like that, and it's totally worth it to read. And then I found a couple of other books that I'm going to read. Like there's a book of whole interviews with him, and then of course his autobiography, A Third Face. So yeah, if us rambling on about Samuel Fuller hasn't convinced you, just go back and watch one of the big ones, right? Pick Up on South Street. I would say the 3 that you should watch, in my opinion, Pick Up on South Street, Shock Corridor, and White Dog.
Yeah.
Start there. And not in that order. I would start White Dog, Shock Corridor, and then Pick Up on South Street. That's my opinion of how I would watch.
Yeah.
Just to get a primer, and then watch them all.
Right.
All right, so this has been Samuel Fuller. Any final thoughts on Samuel Fuller?
Again, he's so underrated director. He should be, recognized a lot more than he has been, I think, yeah.
Well, you never know, Yuki. Maybe there'll be a Fuller resurgence, and then it'll just come out that all these new filmmakers are inspired by him, and they start to make really beautiful, gritty noirs again.
Okay, new filmmakers, are they studying classics? To me, it's like those new filmmakers just chasing Marvel Universe or DC movies.
Sure, I mean, look, as time keeps moving on, we keep getting further and further away from those films, from those classic films that built the foundations of cinema. And what's going to happen is a lot of filmmakers are going to watch the movies that were inspired by the classics and not the classics.
Like Tarantino, I know he studies those, so he's okay. But after him, new generation like James Gunn or those new filmmakers, I don't know if they study those classics.
I don't know. Maybe James Gunn does because he seems like he probably loves media and just delves into it. But like what I feel is going to start to happen is that people are going to study Tarantino and they're not going to study Fuller. Whereas if you really love film, it really saddens me when people go, "Oh, it's in black and white, I can't watch it," or "It has subtitles, I can't watch it." It really closes you off to such beautiful work and beautiful art.
Yeah, because it's good film. It's in black and white color subtitles. There's nothing to do with it. It's a good story, good movie. It's a good movie.
That's what it is, and I really feel like it's a carbon copy almost. What people and any filmmaker that I would talk to who's like a young filmmaker, I would try to steer them towards some of these things, especially somebody like Fuller, who is obviously a prototype for all the stuff that came after him, Scorsese, whatever. So, but I feel like a lot more that we move forward, people are going to recognize Scorsese and not John Huston or, the people that came before, not Kurosawa, but they'll recognize Tarantino.
Well, I think from around the 80s, like music video generation, commercial generation, when they, those guys becoming a film director, it's not the same,
It's a different style. It's so fast now. It's like nobody has... it's so kinetic. All the filmmaking, like the shot length of in a Samuel Fuller movie, there's it's like a minute and a half some of this stuff, and that's just a regular scene.
Yeah.
Now shots last 2 seconds.
Right.
It's like shot.
Hey, cutting too soon. Like I want to see acting.
Right.
I want to see.
And I'm not saying that style isn't valid or I haven't really enjoyed some of that work, but it's like I feel like there's a lot of attention span obviously is going down because of TikTok and stuff like that.
Yeah, I mean, instead of, the effective editing, Just editing is too cut.
Because now you have every option in the world, whereas when you used to cut on film, any chop you made was almost like so permanent because you had to chop it exactly at the right thing. You had to pace it correctly, and you couldn't edit as fast as you can now. Now you could just edit the fuck out of something in 2 days.
Yeah.
And then it's like chop, 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 chop. I don't know. I'm not saying that. I'm not sitting here going like, you know, everybody's stupid for not. But I feel like people are missing out on things that they would love because they don't watch these movies.
I know. Maybe I'm too old. I don't know.
No, you're not too old, Yuki. It's because you appreciate modern things too, right? But I feel like you need to also. I feel like people out there need to appreciate the past as well as the current, and then that way we push forward to an interesting future where it's a blend of all these flavors. Yuki's really sad right now.
I know. And then plus, we don't even make a movie with the film anymore.
Well, yeah, that's the last stand of only a few people making film anymore, and it's so expensive. It's sad, but hopefully digital can start to come close to replicating an actual film look. I mean, some movies look really good, but you could always tell that digital, like, over color corrected blue world bullshit, and it really ruins some films.
I know it's a sad thing.
It's sad. But you know what's happy?
Yeah.
Samuel Fuller's movie are always out there for you to go and watch.
That's right. Okay.
Well, everybody, thank you so much for
so
joining Yuki and John's podcast buffet. You can find us on Yuki and John's Patreon buffet, or Yuki is on Instagram and Twitter at Tokyo Cowboy Yuki.
Oh, really?
You didn't know that?
No.
You always forget.
Okay.
You know I help you.
Yes, I know.
But it's all in your words.
Okay.
Everything that you say, I haven't put a word in your mouth. Except for maybe like, please listen to our program.
Oh.
And you can find me at Bad Techno. We appreciate all the support, all the listeners. Please help us out, share us around. You don't even have to subscribe to us. You can just say, hey, Yuki and John did a thing about Samuel Fuller. Listen to this. Yay. All right, guys, we'll see you next time.
See you next time. Thank you.
At the buffet.
Buffet.